am going to request Dr. Padma, to give her perspective, because the CWC is all about the holistic approach. CWC is all about, taking the integrative approach.
My approach is going to be why lifestyle matters. We heard about diagnostics, so I'm going to talk about why lifestyle is important and how it matters. So cancer is preponderantly a lifestyle disease. There are a couple of things we can't change: our genes and our age, because the older we get, there's more cancer. So because we accumulate genetic mutations, and we have immune senescence, and we have more toxic exposures, etc. So those being there are other things we can change, even to overcome genetic cancers. We can do to improve our chances either from getting the remission or cure from cancer. So the factors about lifestyle are follows: the environment, our diet, our activity. The diet and activity then contribute to obesity or not, and the mental makeup, the stress, like psychological makeup. So we won't go through all of them, but some important points. So in the environment, what proof do we have? We have plenty, actually. Way before DDT was banned, there was a study done by Oakland Kaiser, where they drew blood from prepubescent females and they stored it. And years later, when some of them developed breast cancer, they found that those children who had the highest levels of DDT went on to develop breast cancer as women. So that's one. And the other thing is heterocyclic amines, that when we cook muscle meat, whether it's fish or chicken or meat, when we cook it in high heat, then these compounds are formed and they are toxic, and they cause breast cancer, colorectal cancer, lung cancer, etc. So they are class 1 carcinogens. And then we have dioxins, which are also level 1 carcinogens. These are industrial pollutants. The thing is, they accumulate in fatty tissues, and they're found in animals, poultry, fish, and meat. But the one advantage of being a vegan or vegetarian is they are not found in vegetables. So, and dioxins these are forever chemicals. They last forever, and they are endocrine disruptors, and they've been associated with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, and the other group that I want is in common use, that it's in there are a lot of endocrine disruptors that cause, breast, ovarian, uterine, and prostate cancers, obesity linked, that, plastics and phthalates and bisphenol A, but parabens, there are multiple parabens, and these are as preservatives in our foods or cosmetics or medications even. And it's ubiquitous. Almost everybody in USA has a paraben load in them. And dioxin, everybody in the globe has body burden. And it's the Agent Orange that was sprayed in Vietnam is actually a dioxin. So coming back to parabens, these are endocrine disruptors, and they've been found in breast cancer tissue. Whether it causes that in the patients, we don't know, but we know in mice they do cause proliferation of mammary tissue. So there is some evidence for that. So we can avoid, why it's important is we can avoid parabens. Just look at the ingredients or in whatever you buy, your cosmetics or medications or food products. You can actually look at the labels and not buy it. And heterocyclic amines, don't cook your meat on high heat. Don't go for grilled or charred or whatever. And then we come to the pesticides. Enormous numbers of pesticides in the US. And more than that, there are about 140,000 chemicals, synthetic chemicals that are used in US and in Europe, 140,000. And many more are being introduced every year. So many of them are pesticides. So the safe thing to do is to buy when you can, organic produce, because many of these pesticides are genotoxic, they're endocrine disruptors, and have been associated with cancers. So the Environmental Working Group puts out a dirty dozen every year. It's pretty constant, more or less. Some years tomatoes are there, this year green beans are there. So look it up, and those, preferably you do want to buy organic. And this year, the vegetables there are spinach, other leafy greens, green beans, bell peppers. The fruits are cherries, nectarines, peaches, apples, and 2 or 3 more. So the others, there are a whole slew of other vegetables and fruits you could enjoy, the not organic. So that's as far as the environmental toxins. Coming to diet, the Association for International Cancer Research says they have a diet recommendation, and they do say for prevention of cancer, plant-based diet is best. So why do they say that? Well, there are a couple of unique things to plants that other foods do not have. One is fiber, and fiber is so crucial. The bacteria in our gut microbiome metabolize the fiber to produce short-chain fatty acids. They first of all use them to repair our intestinal lining, keeping it intact, prevent leaky gut. Fiber also moves out the excess estrogens that there may be there, which is maybe carcinogenic. And the bacteria then improve our immunity, aid our digestion, produce hormones like serotonin. So there are and then they also produce anti-cancer compounds. So there are many functions that the fiber does. More and as important are the polyphenols that are present in vegetables and fruits and stems and leaves. And these polyphenols are substances that the plant actually produces for its own survival, but we are the beneficiaries. And the other important thing about eating organic foods is the polyphenol content is richer in organic foods because the plant has to produce more of them because pesticides do not protect them. So there's a higher polyphenol content in organic produce versus the regular produce. Now these polyphenols, there are about 10,000 of them, and they come in like 6 different groups. The largest groups are the flavonoids, and they have marvelous health promoting effects, from cancer reduction, blood pressure control, immunity, antioxidant, anti-angiogenic effects, preventing gene toxicity. They have a whole slew of beneficial compounds and effects, and many foods have, almost all of them, a variety of them. So the intake of the polyphenols is inversely correlated with several cancers. So some of these polyphenol-rich foods are, for example, the cruciferous foods, which are, going down from arugula, bok choy, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, radishes, etc. So they have a sulfur compound, and these cruciferous vegetables prevent gene toxicity. They have anti-angiogenic properties. They have immune boosting properties. They also have aromatase inhibitor actions. The aromatase enzyme is what is in the fat cells that makes more estrogen, making fat more cancer enabling. So aromatase in these cruciferous vegetables have aromatase enzymes also, inhibitors also. So the other category are the berries. They are immune boosting. They have multiple anti-angiogenic factors. The allium group, that's the onions, red onions especially, and garlic. in the Iowa women study that followed women prospectively for several years, postmenopausal women, found there's an inverse correlation between intake of garlic and colon cancer risk, colon cancer incidence. Garlic intake has also been associated inversely or with prostate cancer and breast cancer and other cancers. The other group are mushrooms. There was one study that said if a person have 1/8 to 1/4 cup of mushrooms a day, just a small amount, there's such a remarkable reduction in overall cancers. I just found one study and it said 45%. I hope somebody does another study and comes up, proves this further, but it's a remarkable effect. Tomatoes we all know have lycopenes. This is one food that should be cooked to get the benefit of the anti-cancer polyphenol, because most of the other polyphenols are heat sensitive. You don't want to overcook it, but lycopene, tomatoes you should cook. Half a cup of tomatoes twice a week reduces prostate cancer incidence by about 30%, and those cancers will also be less aggressive. And so Mediterranean diet, we heard about Mediterranean diet earlier. So one of the key features is olive oil. There are many studies, of course. One impressive study that had about 27,000 patients, a prospective study, was actually a meta-analysis of prospective studies was of olive oil, and 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil a day reduced esophageal cancer by 70%. I mean, this is another phenomenal number, but esophageal cancer by extra virgin olive oil, 3 to 4 tablespoons a day, by 70%, and ovarian cancer by 35%. And it also decreased breast cancer and colorectal cancer, etc. But the remarkable thing was the esophageal cancer. So if somebody has Barrett's esophagus or constant GE reflux, or is a smoker, that would be a good thing. But then we need to keep in mind that obesity, 4 tablespoons of olive oil is almost 500 calories. So that's quite a bit. So, but it's still something to keep in mind. So the other superfood is nuts. Why? It's there's a study out of Harvard where stage 3 colon cancer patients, when they were able to have, after surgery, when they were able to have their normal intake, they were given 2 servings of nuts per week, just 2 servings of nuts per week. One serving being 7 walnuts, 11 cashews, 17 cashews and 11 macadamia nuts, something like that. Those are the numbers. And after 6 years, those people that were having those patients who had the nuts, they had impressive disease-free survival and reduction in total overall mortality. That was really pretty impressive. So, and mushrooms is the other superfood. Mushroom has aromatase inhibitors, and they boost interferon. They have antioxidant capacity. They mobilize the immune cells. And the soy is the other one. Soy, a lot of people think that once somebody has breast cancer, ovarian cancer, or uterine cancer, they cannot have soy. But it has been proven over and over again that soy is safe, and in fact, soy competes for the estrogen receptors, and soy is beneficial. So there's a reduction in recurrence of breast cancer. And then we come to obesity. So obesity is also a risk factor for type 2 diabetes, and it's associated with 13 different cancers. So cause of it is being the Western pattern diet with a lot of sugar and a lot of processed foods, white flour, etc. So bariatric surgery had less recurrence of breast cancer after their bariatric surgery. So that again shows that obesity is related. I mean, it's massively related to cancer occurrence or progression or recurrence. The final thing is about exercise. Exercise is also the intensity and measured by METs. Duration of exercise is inversely related to multiple cancers, including colon, breast, uterus, kidneys, and bladder. So there was Stephen Moore is somebody who did meta-analysis of multiple studies, and he had 1.4 million people, prospective meta-analysis studies. And he found that this exercise actually this is like prevention. There was much less incidence of cancers in those people who did either moderate or severe, higher degrees of exercise. So also breast cancer recurrence is reduced in women who exercise. So that also has been shown. So these are strong evidence that lifestyle really benefits in multiple ways. So we can, and then there's whole other thing about psychology and socialization and vagus nerve and breathing, etc. That's a whole different thing. But these are things that we can do. It's available, it's free. So there's no need to despair. Only things we have to implement. And so diet, exercise, tackling obesity, and definitely trying to avoid environmental toxins. May not be available in India, right? I mean, we cannot just stop there. There's plentiful of anti-cancer foods in India, plentiful. Turmeric is from there, amla is from there. Moringa has so many anti-cancer properties. It has both the isothiocyanates as well as quercetin, and all kinds of vegetables, so many varieties. Spinach, right? We have amaranth and spinach, and we have methi leaves, we have mustard greens. I mean, and moringa. So we have that many, and then eggplant and lemon. The rind of lemon, the pith has angiogenic factors and polyphenols, not just the juice. So if you make a pickle out of turmeric, ginger, lemon juice, lemon, the cut up lemon, and chili, you have all the antioxidants, different kinds, and the multitude works better than the single. So that is fantastic. Yeah. So, and pomegranates are always there. Every time I go to India, I see pomegranates and apples and papayas. So India has as many, but when here we do talk, and of course there are cruciferous vegetables, there's cabbage and cauliflower and radishes. So they are there too. So I think that needs to be known. That's all.
Nutritional guidance for thyroid cancer.
I think there is not something specific unless the person is hypothyroid or hyperthyroid, but then that is medically managed. So I think following the recommendations that, to follow a good diet, fruits and vegetables, less meat, definitely less processed meat, or no processed meat, less alcohol or no alcohol. Those are the guidance. And then, exercise, avoid environmental damage, etc.